Singapore, one of the most advanced cities in the world, hailed by many as the city of the future. Now, this economic powerhouse hosts the chess of the future, freestyle chess. In this game, everything is decided at the board, face-to-face with your opponent. Goodbye to home preparation, chess databases, and reams of engine analysis. This is chess in its purest form. On one side, the absolute greatest player of his generation, Magnus Carlsen, who is hungry to conquer yet another chess domain. On the other, his greatest challenger, Fabiano Caruana. No one ever came closer to knocking Carlsen off his world championship perch. From the very first move, they will both have to adapt to new patterns and unfamiliar, unforgiving terrain. Freestyle is the future of chess. Come and join us on this unpredictable journey.
And we are live, not just to the audience here at the amazing Stanford Hotel in Singapore. We're live across the world to thousands of viewers already. Welcome everybody to the launch party for the 2025 Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour. We're here. Let's hear it one more time as we get started here. Come on everybody. All right. So there's a bunch of stuff that's about to go down. We have Magnus Carlsen, we have Fabiano Caruana, Maurice Ashley, Tanya Sachdev, and we're going to dive into an amazing head-and-hand battle. This is a game as if chess needed to get any harder. We're mixing up the pieces with freestyle, and now we're making it a team game where one player suggests the piece to move, and the other player has to figure out what they're talking about. Our goats, if you will, Magnus and Fabiano, will start out as the head first, suggesting a piece. Maurice and Tanya will have to figure out what they want to do. But as we get into that, if you haven't been paying attention, a few hours earlier today, the internet broke once again as freestyle chess continues to disrupt the world's oldest game, announcing the tour. It is official. This thing is going all around the world, in Germany, in Paris, France, New York, Delhi, India, South Africa. It's going to be amazing. But if you missed it, we're going to throw to a real quick announcement video for all the fans at home. This is the 2025 Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour.
It is a dream to play this tournament.
This was absolutely amazing.
The organization was really great.
I'm going to hold the mic the whole time. We're live. We're live again. This is live TV. Sorry about that. Well, welcome back to Singapore. Here we have three people we want to hear from. We're going to start with the visionary behind it and talk about, we're in Singapore. Why did you choose Singapore, Jan?
Well, we chose Singapore because the FIDE chose Singapore, and Singapore chose to hold the World Championship in chess later on this month, a few days from now. And as we know that Magnus has decided to not participate in the World Championship anymore, instead we have teamed up and did something new, and we have, in accordance with FIDE together, said let's go to Singapore, let's show that what we have to offer in terms of freestyle chess, and let's have a joint press conference on Saturday and see that we are showing the world how chess is going to be in the future.
I love it. So more to come from Singapore. All right, Fabi, you guys were all around the city today, different iconic locations. What is that like, being a part of it and being in this city, doing something a little different than you would at a normal chess event?
Yeah, it's very fun. It's my first time in Singapore, and I'm enjoying it. It's been like really hectic the last 2 days, just running from location to location, but seeing a lot of cool things, and also looking forward to playing chess.
Your favorite location that you guys played chess on or in?
No, it was actually fun because we were discussing some freestyle positions, some starting positions, which we'll probably never see again, or maybe not remember when we see them. But we had a chance to like use the photo shoot not just to take photos, but also to discuss some things that took the kind of boring side out of it as well. As favorite location, like I liked the treetops where we were today a lot. I thought that was a really cool view, and yeah, we were on the helipad the first time, which was also cool, and had an amazing view of like everything. You could just see, you could see Indonesia, you could see Malaysia. It's just amazing views, and yeah, that was cool.
All right, Magnus, on to you. Speaking of the fact that you guys could see everything today, did you ever think you would see this when you met up with this guy and talked about taking your passion for Chess 960 freestyle into something bigger than had ever been done? So what are your thoughts about this and kicking off the tour, and what does it mean to you to be here?
Yeah, I thought quickly after meeting Jan that this is a man who fulfills his ambitions. So I think this is a great beginning of the tour. I think Jan and his team have done a fantastic job setting this up, and hopefully it's the start of something great.
All right, well, tonight is the start of a couple days match against this guy, and I want to do a little bit of a preview. Obviously, you guys played each other in a world championship match that you've said yourself was maybe it was the toughest you ever had in terms of the results themselves. How excited are you to be playing this guy in a match in freestyle classical time controls?
No, we played the final in Weissenhaus as well in the first classical freestyle tournament, so I think there's not a better opponent to be found. Fabi also crushed Gary and the American elite in freestyle in St. Louis just a few weeks ago. So I think it's going to be a great match, and I think he'll certainly be a force to be reckoned with during the season next year.
Does this guy get any easier in freestyle than he was in classical, or how are you feeling about going up against him?
No, of course, it's never easy. I mean, yeah, I more or less, as Magnus mentioned, consider like a direct rematch of our final in Weisenhaus, which didn't go my way. And yeah, that was a bit of a bitter end to the tournament, which I really enjoyed a lot the entire time. And okay, just the ending was a bit sad for me. But yeah, I mean, you can't get a more difficult opponent, so I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, and today you guys have teammates who are waiting to be your opponents too. So all right, we're going to move over and let you guys settle in over here. We have Jan Henrik and his amazing wife Holly to do the honors to get us started with the positions over here. So I've never actually seen this thing in person. I don't even have any idea how this works. I'm fascinated by what is about to happen, but 960 balls for 960 different positions. Holly is going to start the process, and we're going to get one that we're going to kick off this entire event, this entire tour with in this head and hand. So, Holly?
Let's go.
Can we have a countdown? Let's do it. Let's do a countdown from 5, 3, 2, 1, go! All right. And they say chess isn't a visual contact sport. Look at that. Position number 12. Wow. Okay, I don't have these positions memorized. There's 960 of them, so we're gonna find out which one that is. The ball is listed right there, number 12. We're gonna get the position on the screen, and then we're actually gonna hear from the partners of Fabiano and Magnus Carlsen, respectively. Tanya and Maurice, can you join us over here? Here we go. Let's hear it for Tanya Sachdev and Maurice Ashley. Commentators extraordinaire, chess legends in their own right. All right. Well, which one of you wants to be put on the spot first with a position that I'm sure you didn't prepare? Maurice, your first freestyle thoughts. Freestyle it for us.
Well, queen in the corner already, you got to look at that and wonder what the heck that's about. But I think the rest of it looks reasonable enough. That bishop on g1, we'll have to solve that problem. Bishop g1, bishop on g8. Otherwise, we'll see. I don't want to give away too much right now.
Your teammate's he's listening in, hoping you got the right ideas. But all right, we'll hear from him later. Tanya, your first thoughts. You'll be on the white side with Magnus, so you get to make the first move. You want to reveal what you're thinking about?
Well, I did have a word with him earlier, and he said he's probably going to say pawn for the first move. I might be giving too much away right now, Magnus. But yeah, I think I haven't seen that position before. I'm going to take it in for a bit. You pointed out the queen. I see the two knights together. It's going to be a fun one. We'll see what happens.
All right. Any big weaknesses pop out to either of you that got you worried? One of the things that makes this fascinating is big weaknesses to worry about. Blunders are possible.
Well, I mean, there is one undefended pawn sitting on d2/d7, but I have another problem with the position that I really don't want to talk about because I don't want them to preempt it because I've tried to figure out how to solve it with the black pieces already. So I think I mentioned the piece already, but we'll see. I think there is a problem in the position.
Tanya, any last words before I let you join your teammate, you and Magnus discuss it?
You know, I'm just absolutely pumped. I mean, that's an incredible view. We've got the two best players on the planet here. I'm going to be playing alongside one of them and opposite the other one. So can't wait to get started. And Maurice, he's a good friend, but not for the next 1 hour.
You should have heard the trash talk of these two at dinner. They are not friends tonight. All right, we're going to let you join your teammates. Maurice sitting with Fabiano, Magnus, and Tanya. We're going to throw it to the players and maybe listen in. They're all mic'd up. They also have heart rate monitors, by the way. So again, if you thought chess wasn't enough of a contact sport for you or didn't give you the insights you want, not with freestyle, you're going to get all the drama that you ever asked for. So I'm going to let you guys
can't see the
zoom
clock.
in there and take it
Okay,
away.
so how do you want to do this?
Yeah,
Maybe
can we get the arbiter?
And I think I'm going to turn off my mic as I walk.
So Fabi's making a point that they can't see the clock, so
It depends on how it is
But then the
for
cameras,
TV
that's the
and-
issue.
and so on. Let's
So
just
the-
keep it at like this, and we'll just
I'll
say
know-
like we're
I'll
allowed.
alert you. I'll
we're
alert you
allowed
to the
talk
clock.
about time.
Okay.
Is it comfortable for you if you? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that actually helps. Yeah,
Yeah, I can kind of see it.
A little bit. Can you see it?
I can see it very well now. If you move it just like a little bit further back,
I can
then-
reach. Can you reach? Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, yeah, it's
No,
a
we'll
little
be
bit.
fine. Let's try it. You can see the clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't get those 5 minutes to discuss, I'm guessing?
No.
No.
No moves, nothing.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Let's
It's
do
not
that.
like we have a very good idea anyway.
I have a very bad
This is
idea I'm trying to
confusing. So that's a
solve.
queen on a1 and king on f1.
What's confusing? You know
Like,
how
it
the
just
pieces
doesn't
look
look,
like.
you know, this one looks very similar now. Adjust. Should do.
By the way, you guys are familiar with castling rules, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, just to confirm that,
I mean,
king side is only with this one.
like
right.
it's just normal castling. So that
Yes.
rook will go to
F1.
To D,
No.
Yeah.
no, that rook will go to D1.
No, F, this one goes to F1. This
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry. I mean,
And then this one goes to D1.
This
here.
one goes
Yes.
to. And
This
also,
king-
it's
this king
about
side is queen side.
whether any squares, like in between, are threatened. Like it's not relevant, not particularly relevant here. But let's say the king is on
Yeah,
B1
no. All
and
this has to be cleared.
and the rook on A1.
Yeah.
Then you could castle, even if there's something
Something
threatening
guarding D1 because the king
because
doesn't
it's not
cross.
in between. King
Yeah,
doesn't
but
cross.
right
Okay.
now we do have to.
but here, like
consider-
if there's a queen on A5, you can't castle
Yeah.
long. or
Yeah,
so
so-
like,
that, yeah.
it's very difficult to castle long here.
Question.
Is that a little hint there?
No,
hint,
just-
hint.
But you can only go king side
Holy
castling with the rook
crap.
on the right. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
basically it's
Jeez,
right
on
or
my
left
nerves.
castling.
Yeah, it's kind of hard with
Okay,
the
I gotta
king side,
get over
queen
this
side.
fixation that I have with this one piece. It's bugging the mess out of me. This one piece is very annoying.
This is-
Okay. Is there a gong that's gonna go off or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should I press?
Yes.
What was the gong?
Ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pawn.
Are we allowed to trash talk during the game?
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
nice.
It's normal to think over the first move.
Yeah, it's fun,
that's
right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Part of the fun.
Pawn.
Good.
Pawn. Yeah.
Are we able to go?
I can't wait to be the hand.
I know.
You're putting pressure on me to be quick. Wait.
I know that's the easier one for the
No, it's the more fun one though. But I just need a little time. Sorry.
Take your time if you don't mind.
You like?
Okay. Danny, we can talk finally.
We can talk. Are we live? Oh my gosh. We thought we were going to mime the whole show. Welcome back, everybody. International Master Cigar Shah's here in the building. What's up, man?
Danny, I'm so excited to be commentating with you, and what a spectacle we have here.
What a spectacle we have. We got a bunch of fans right now, right behind us, getting drinks at the bar. A lot of them have already headed over to watch what's happening. The game is going. We have liftoff. We heard Magnus and Tanya, as well as Maurice and Bobby talking about it. But Cigar, okay, I guess you and I are anxious to dive into the chess here, because freestyle chess is fascinating, has you on the edge of your seat from move one. You already made a comment that the move B5 from Black was really not the best, and so I backed up and took a peek at the engine. It's interesting that the best move for Black was to play a move you normally say no to, but it was to open up this bishop.
And also to limit the queen.
Yeah, immediately limit the queen and get the diagonal. That by itself speaks to just how interesting freestyle can be, right? But look at when Magnus said pawn to Tanya, she figured it out and took this idea.
Yeah, she played F3.
Did you get your wish?
But you know, Danny, if she would have maybe pushed her A pawn, which she can do now as well. And I think Magnus might just call out a pawn.
I really need to figure out which pawn you want.
That would really put Black under pressure.
Yeah, Magnus has now said pawn twice. Remind everybody real quick, this thing's moving fast here because we're having a party at the SKAI Loft here in Singapore. It's really 2 games of 10 plus 10. I just want to give everybody the format. The first game, Tanya and Magnus obviously have white, as you can see before you. Maurice and Fabi have black. They will switch colors and they will switch positions in game 2 in terms of who's the head and who's the hand. And so buckle up, everybody. We're only just getting started. I just wanted to remind them real quick at home, Cigar, like what they're in for.
Right.
The head calls out the piece and the hand moves it. So now let's go back to your point. Magnus has said pawn twice. Yeah. But Tanya has not moved the A pawn yet. Really I bet if he says pawn again, though, she might find it.
I think she must do it. And right now they are moving very slowly. If you look at the time, Danny, they have 7 minutes 45 seconds, and they've just played 2 moves.
Yeah.
So they need to speed up.
That's a really good point. And you know, there's a reason Magnus has talked so much about wanting to play classical freestyle chess, because he feels like the creativity required and the nerves. Oh, and she finds an A4. The nerves immediately.
Magnus, he's very happy.
He's very happy. Okay.
But I wasn't.
And this is a ton of fun. When do you get to see Magnus bantering with anybody, let alone at a chessboard like this, where people really get to hear the thoughts inside his head? And they're putting pressure on Team Fabi and Maurice right now.
Right, and we can see Jan, the man behind this entire freestyle chess, watching from a distance there. And also the colors of the team. There's Team Blue and there's Team Red.
Yeah, Team Blue, Magnus and Tanya looking dapper. Team Red, the camera hasn't shifted over there yet, but you will see Maurice and Fabi wearing matching, amazing maroon-looking suits. They look damn good. There they are. Look at that. But all right, Maurice took the pawn. Fabi immediately calls out knight, and I think they got the memo, or they heard you, Cigar. You are pretty loud. You might be the only person in chess commentary who's as loud as me, by the way. We can get loud together.
No, I think they're pretty far
I'm kidding. There's no way they heard you. But I'm saying they got the memo that you put out there, which is you got to speed up. That was the point I was trying to make. Classical freestyle chess, you got the time. You don't got the time here. This is only 10 minutes per side.
Yeah, and also right now with the knight coming in, Danny, the queen is attacked, but the A pawn is really weak. And so if somehow white can just coordinate, this already looks positionally really better for Magnus and Tanya.
I completely agree. That's why Magnus was looking for that A4 idea that you found. And I think the queen can go probably anywhere as long as she keeps an eye on the A5 square and doesn't allow black to perhaps liquidate that weakness. What do you think?
I think Magnus has mentioned queen.
Yeah.
That's why Tanya is thinking, because if he would have said a bishop, then Tanya would have had to capture the knight there.
Yeah. Bishop would be a process of elimination, only one good move, a lot easier. But Tanya does need to speed up. You've already said it before that that's probably the biggest factor we can take away is despite the edge for white, you see that eval bar saying that white is about a pawn ahead in position. White is down 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah. And Danny, I really love the thing on the right-hand bottom corner of the stream where we have the heart rate monitors there. We have also the mood emojis. And also the stress levels. This is so well done.
This is so well done. The mood is what we're all feeling, by the way. Everyone has a big smile on their face, so maybe that just speaks for the crowd. But note that, okay, Tanya did move finally. She's put the queen on b5, as you said, Cigar, to make sure that black can't play a5. But the big issue is not on the board. It's off the board. She is down 2 minutes on the clock, and the next time Magnus mentions a piece, she needs to move a little faster.
And also you can see there Maurice talking with Fabi there. and he pushes the pawn, attacking the queen. Ooh, and the queen switches over to the other side.
I like it. I don't care what the eval bar says. I love that Tanya's tenacity kicked in. She was, okay, I have to move quickly. She slides the queen over to the king side. By the way, spying on this g-pawn, this king could be a little tender if black isn't careful.
And if the bishop joins in, Danny, then there could be a huge attack coming in.
I knew you and I were going to have a good time together. You are speaking my language right there. That is checkmate on g7. The pawn has been set by Fabiano when Maurice attacks the queen. Obviously, Magnus immediately says queen, and Tanya keeps the pace.
And what did we learn? Like, you know, don't develop your queen too early in the opening. And look at the queen being kicked around everywhere.
Not in freestyle, right? The rules go out the window, and it's time to get jiggy with it. White does want to attack this pawn. I think Tanya has that idea on the brain. But what's interesting is, again, there are so many ways this position could just go crazy. All the pieces on the back rank make me nervous for both sides.
And you can see the bar constantly moving up and down, which means that the players are not really getting the hang of the right continuations. Yeah, it's not easy.
Not easy at all. Being a human is hard. We know, and the computers are like yelling at us like, hey, get out of here. But you know what I like about bishop h7 is next move, you know what black can try? Potentially castle, right? In freestyle, we always forget that because the moment the king and rook are talking to each other and have a clear line of communication, you can switch places and castle, and that's something that even the best players will forget from time to time because freestyle is so odd in terms of the patterns.
And once the rooks are connected, Danny, I think the position becomes much more easier to deal. But for now, I think black really has pinned that pawn, and Tanya and Magnus have to figure out what to do.
I agree. And speaking of Tanya and Magnus, by the way, if we take back at a look at our amazing heart rate and stress levels, Tanya's heart rate is kicking up. She's clearly a little more nervous at this time.
She's smiling, but she's under stress.
She's smiling, but the heart rate is speaking loudly in terms of how she's feeling in that amazing blue dress, by the way, along with the blue jacket that Magnus is wearing. Love it. But yeah, Tanya feeling the nerves a little bit, needs to speed up.
And she has made a move here. She's brought the knight out, and right now they have 5 minutes 39 seconds. Fabi and Maurice have 7 minutes 41 seconds on the clock.
Yep. Well, what's funny is now I can't tell whether Fabi has set a piece yet or not, or whether he's still thinking or Maurice is thinking. Because this is, I think, a big moment. Maybe Fabi hasn't even said what piece he wants Maurice to move yet. A big decision point coming.
Do you think, Danny, we can castle here?
I think black can. I'm just going to show it, even if black doesn't do it, just so that they see this is what's going to happen in freestyle chess. The king is going to pop over and trade places with the king and rook. Looks like they have actually in the live position. They indeed did it. Oh no, wait.
Did they castle?
Yes, it looks like we might be a move behind. So we'll
maybe we need to have the castling done, and then I think there was another move.
Yeah.
And now e5 is played.
Yeah, e5 has been played. It looks like black did castle in the live position. So we're gonna check in with that. And now those are the two moves. Is white played bishop a2? I can play it, and black actually castled here. Which this is the problem. I think I'm gonna give a shout to production here to fix the live board, but we'll
maybe we can just make the king go like this and
yeah, we can manually move it real quick.
Yeah. Right.
Just considering where. 1 second.
Chill at home. Everyone's gonna chill, and I'm gonna get us the exact position that we have on the board, just until we have a chance. This is fun. Okay, and we have liftoff. Right here.
Yes.
Back in our position here. Okay. All right. So this is where we're at. The king is castled. The thing I love about black's position, by the way, is that they managed to get the pawn to e5. That kills the bishop on the diagonal and eliminates the fun plans Tanya and Magnus might have had of checkmate. So that's a problem.
I think they now it's white's move, and maybe if we can.
Go ahead. There we go. What was it? It was knight?
No, she didn't. Let me just.
Yeah. 1 second.
Nice.
Okay, so this was the position, and here takes, pawn takes, knight came out to c3, and knight e6. I think this is the live board position. We do have Danny and.
It's getting kind of fun.
Magnus and Tanya have got in knight to d5.
And I've got us here. All right, we are all good now, everybody.
And the last move could be an error here because now the knight actually, just one move ago, this could have been a very nice position for white if they would have put the bishop in here. But instead of that, the knight came in.
And you know what's funny on that is that in some ways that mistake is on Magnus, right? Because Magnus says the piece and Tanya chooses it, right? Magnus said knight, which is why Tanya moved the knight. So it was actually Magnus who missed this bishop d5 idea, which just tells you how hard these positions are to play.
And now the pawn has pushed forward. It feels somehow that black's position is more coordinated,
Agreed.
more space. White looks a little bit on the defensive. What do you think, Danny?
Oh my gosh, and Magnus said knight! He laughs in the face of danger, says you can take my queen, but I'm gonna get yours. Oh my gosh, and by the way, the computer loved that move. Like, how does he find that? That was crazy.
But this is amazing because, they took the queen and now you get your knight right into the corner where it's safe. It cannot be trapped.
How often do you get a knight in your opponent's corner and there's nothing they can do about it? Welcome to Freestyle, ladies and gentlemen. This is a position like you're not going to see anywhere else. They really got away with one there, Magnus and Tanya. That knight d5 idea, while the computer criticized it, from a human perspective, it worked out well.
Yes, and by the way, Fabi had seen the next move. He pushes the pawn. And look at that, Danny. You can't take the pawn. The rook is looking at the king. And if the knight moves, you are in trouble there on the f file.
They call that a double pin, boys and girls. This is a problem. Fabi sees it. He's attacking both the knight.
And look at Tanya. She has the queen in her hand. She is feeling the pressure.
She's nervous. She's grabbing a piece on the side. We see, look at Maurice's focus, by the way. That guy's dialed in, and for the record, he's now rocking the most stressed heartbeat. His mood has gone to medium. Oh my God, we have liftoff. Maurice's mood is medium. The stress level is starting to pick up for him.
But I love how both Carlson and Caruana have it below like 100. You know, they are more calm.
It is amazing. You know, we were at dinner catching up with Fabiano, who is a physical trainer here with him in Singapore, and he talked about a lot of the work that he does with Fabi is based on, you know, breath management, managing your nerves and your stress levels, and how important that is for a top chess player. And you see that Fabi, I think of all players, Sagar, he feels like he's the most stoic. Fabi just can't be rattled, ever.
Yeah, and actually he's just keeping it so calm there. But I feel right now their position is under some trouble because Tanya and Magnus have just snatched another pawn.
Yeah, they're surviving every step of the way. Talk about a team that looks like they played together for years. Magnus says the piece, Tanya's finding all the right moves, and they've gained a little bit of an edge once again, according to the computer.
And Maurice comes and attacks the pawn there on c2. Danny, how about we can just push it one step forward, and then the knights are one knight in that corner, the other knight comes into the white camp.
That would be hilarious. Although I think your move, while fun for the memes, is actually just the best move. I think they'll play it. Indeed. Magnus led pawn, and Tanya pushed it quickly.
And you can see how the vibe of this entire place has changed. It's now all business.
Yep.
Both of the sides want to win this, and this is very serious stuff.
Trash talk, by the way.
Maurice dialed in, not a lot of talking. Okay, Fabi giving out a smile. Not quite sure what to play here.
I think he would say a knight, and the hard work has to be done by Maurice now.
Yeah.
Should the knight come in? Should it go back?
Yep. That's a good point. Sometimes it is harder on the head, right, in terms of the right piece. Sometimes it's harder on the hand because there really isn't anything but work you got to do because there are so many options to figure out.
And there you can see Maurice is like, yeah, I'm looking at the knight, but which square? Should I go back again from where I came? Should I come inside? And then I don't know if my knight would get trapped. And maybe coming in here, Danny, I think they should take the risk.
I think they should do it. Go for it. It's going to be fun.
No, the pawn was set. Oh, he took here.
Oh, pawn was set.
Good luck.
Pawn was set, and that's why they were laughing, because they knew it was a bad sacrifice. I think they're all on the inside joke, which is that Magnus is going to say pawn, and I think Tanya's just going to take the knight.
No, but Danny, if you take here, maybe take,
oh my
and
gosh.
it's game over. Oh, she rightly took back, I think, the pawn on f3.
Ah, wait a second.
Yeah.
What's the move? Bishop d3? That's what it was.
And then rook comes into f1. It's all over there.
There would have been no way to stop checkmate. Okay, so instead, Tanya takes back, but the computer doesn't like it. And now bishop d3 check.
Bishop.
And
but actually the other pawn had to take there instead of this one.
Yeah.
This and white would have been better, but they took here on EF3, and now it seems like the position is around level.
But this is one of those positions where I feel like the computers don't give humans any justice. Bishop A7.
Look at the white king. There's a bishop here, the other bishop here, the two rooks lined up.
Discovered check, and the knight on A8 is now under attack after the king moves from check. Black is going to gobble up that knight in the corner, and you see Maurice is about to take it.
So it's safe there. The king is safe. It's not getting checkmated, and white has survived. I thought it would be a mating attack.
I thought this position was actually moments from over, but somehow the computer said still close to level. Now the question is, what does white do with this king that is in big danger against the black bishop? You are one blunder away from getting in a mating net.
Yeah. I mean, the king is unsafe, but Danny, white does have one pawn. How important is it
to be up a pawn?
Yeah.
When you're up a pawn, at least you have something, no matter how bad it gets. Magnus said rook. Tanya gets aggressive on the e-file. Here we go.
Goes to the 7th rank. The rook is well placed. The bishop is also nicely placed on the diagonal.
Agreed.
The knight is okay.
Yep.
But I love the black bishops. They are so powerfully placed there.
So pretty. The problem, I think, for Maurice and Fabi is that if you give white another move, the other rook gets in, and this position is getting easier for white. So that's why they're thinking Maurice and Fabi have to find a good move now. Looks like Fabi said pawn, and Maurice attacks the knight.
Yeah, attacks the knight, and now the knight comes back here. And I think Maurice has to figure out how to keep the pressure going. Danny, I feel like the bishop can go back and give a check to the white king, but somehow the king can just slide back. So it's not really unsafe anymore, I feel. The white king looks pretty safe.
I completely agree. Completely agree. The white king is getting safer by the move. The knight on e3 blocks the bishop from f2, which means this king can tuck back in its hole and run to the corner. By the way, for the first time in the game, suddenly Maurice and Fabi are down on the clock, which tells you how the tables have turned. Tanya and Magnus now have about a 20-second time advantage.
And do you see there, the stress level suddenly showed medium for both Maurice and Fabi.
Yeah.
Which means they both are under a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah. What's funny is that Fabi's heart rate is still pretty low despite his mood worsening. But I don't know how that thing measures mood. It's actually pretty funny. Maybe Fabi's heart rate is low even when he's sad. You know, he doesn't get stressed, that guy.
Oh, and this is a nice move. You are attacking the pawn now. The rook cannot defend it because the bishop controls that square.
Yeah, great point, great point.
So we cannot really get our rook there.
Indeed, indeed. And now, how does white defend this pawn? I don't think Magnus has set a piece yet, but when he does, is he going to say knight to defend it? Is he going to come up with some other move? This is where it gets Super Grandmaster level-y in Magnus's head. Yes, I just said Super Grandmaster level-y. In his head, he's thinking about stuff, and Tanya's going to have to try to calculate what he wants.
Yeah, if he says, like, let's say a bishop, it's very tough for Tanya to... Oh, she finds it! He did say the bishop, and Tanya finds the best move, because if you take, rook takes, and Danny, that's saving the pawn then.
What a move by Tanya. Speaking of playing Magnus Carlsen level-y chess, she just did it. And by the way, if that bishop moves to a different square, that white bishop might pop into g6. And now who's in trouble? The h5 pawn.
That's a great point there. And I think right now, Maurice and Fabi have to figure out what is their next move. They don't want to take the bishop and bring the rook into the game.
I think it may be what we saw.
No.
And look at Magnus. He's enjoying himself there. He's happy that Tanya made that move bishop b1.
And now they're all talking trash. Whatever's going on, Magnus and Tanya are having a good time. Maurice and Fabi, not so much right now.
And by the way, time-wise, now Magnus and Tanya are ahead on the clock. This has happened just, I think, on the previous move.
No, they just crossed under 4 minutes before, and now they're not only up on the clock, they're about to be up almost a minute on the clock if Maurice and Fabi don't move quickly. Because this is a big moment. If you take, you're helping them coordinate. If you move the bishop, as we said, the h5 pawn gets in trouble. Bishop b1 was a stellar move by Tanya, reading Magnus's mind.
And takes it. Oh, now the rook can come in, and that was an easy move. They played it quickly. And what does Fabi say next?
He hasn't moved yet. I'm waiting for those words to come out of Fabi's mouth. What piece is he going to say? Did he say pawn?
Yeah, I guess so. And he pushes the pawn.
Okay.
And Danny, let's push it forward, yeah?
B5. Now, this is an interesting move, though, because the bishop is a very good piece when it comes to helping pawns push. It guards the A1 square, which is going to help that pawn maybe become a queen. And here we go. We have a race. We have a liftoff.
This is a big race now. But that's a question mark move. We don't know what.
I think it's because of this move. I think that no matter how fast you run as a pawn, rooks are faster. Believe me, I've tried. You can't outrun them. They will always catch up with you.
And if Magnus has said rook and Tanya once again plays that rook to the behind the pawn, then I think really Magnus and Tanya would be in the driver's seat totally.
Completely agree. Completely agree. If rook A7 and if rook A8, I wonder if there's even B6
just
there,
push
right?
The pawn.
Crazy.
And I think the white pawn is faster there. Did Magnus say a rook? I think he must have said the rook, and Tanya is actually figuring out which rook to play. Maybe there's also a rook b4, moving the rook upwards. So there's some options.
Unless he said knight. The only other move would be knight to c4, which also works because it guards the a3 square.
I like it.
And attacks the bishop. So we don't know. We didn't have audio or camera on Magnus. Maybe you can hear them, fans, but we're gonna find out in a second based on what piece Tanya moves.
You know what, Danny? I'm a little bit afraid of this fact that if the rook moves here and then the knight moves away, there's a check and
So he did say knight.
Say the knight.
He did say knight, and Tanya chose knight c2 instead of knight c4. What's interesting is that move does threaten d4, so I like Tanya's idea, but here comes rook c8. I think that's a great move. It attacks the knight.
But the knight comes and blocks the pawn, and we all know that the knights are the best blockaders of fast pawns.
Yeah.
And now the bishop comes back attacking the knight. The rook moves in. Look at the speed at which they're playing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's got to be nice when you have Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana recommending pieces in your ear. Man, that sounds like a fantasy I once had, where they get to come up and tap you on the shoulder and tell you which piece to move.
Yeah, I mean, today Tanya was just mentioning to me that this is going to be the best 1 hour of my life.
It's going to be so great. By the way, Magnus says rook. Tanya immediately finds the double attack. Rook e5 hits one pawn, hits another. I think Magnus and Tanya are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, this is looking not so good for Maurice and Fabi. And I really like how Tanya and Magnus have been playing. They did not let their advantage slip by. And look at Tanya, they're shaking her head. She's like, okay, I must be focused here.
Yeah, she's focused, she's dialed in. She doesn't know we've got her on the big cam, the cam that goes up from the chess pieces. Okay, are they talking trash? Magnus
what is this, Danny? Like, it's the move of Maurice and Fabi, and
they're talking
Magnus
smack.
is kind of distracting them.
Hey, it's a party, right? That's the kind of chess I can get behind. Talking trash while your opponent is thinking. You know, I love it. Maurice,
what to do now?
They don't know what to do.
Oh, look at Maurice. He's in the chess player's pose here, inside a party.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lose, of course.
Fabi must have already set a piece because he's a little bit disinterested, waiting for Maurice to find the move.
Maybe a rook is what he said. He said a rook, maybe rook e8, pinning the rook.
I think he must have said rook, right? Rook e8 seems to be the only move that saves both pawns because you pin the rook to the king. Rook e8 would force the trade. But either way, Maurice isn't happy for good reason because Magnus and Tanya have kept their extra pawn. By the way, they're up almost 2 minutes on the clock now, so literally the clock has turned around.
Maurice has to move now. He has to play something. He said that he hasn't played a competitive game of chess since 10 years. And I think a little bit of that is being senior. Perhaps he's a bit confused what to play. He's shaking his head there. The clock has to be taken care of. It's 1 minute, less than a minute on the clock, Danny.
They're down under a minute. Maurice still has not moved. Fabi suggested a piece almost 2 minutes ago at this point. But he said bishop. Fabi must have said bishop. Oh wait, something's going on.
But bishop, he takes the knight.
He's taking.
Now you can do it.
Yeah, you take the pawn with check first, and then you recapture.
And now rook takes, and you are 2 pawns up.
Yeah, this is going the way of Team Blue, as they say. Magnus and Tanya sporting the blue outfit, and I think they're going to get the first win in our head-in-hand match here.
Yeah. and they have taken the b5 pawn, but Tanya has snatched the a4 pawn. This is technical stuff. I don't think it's very tough for Magnus to convert such an endgame.
I agree. And Tanya also, I think, would convert an endgame even if she didn't have Magnus Carlsen in her ear here, right? This is an endgame where Tanya, an incredibly strong player, she's up a couple pawns and a rook ending. I think she would take this one home. And the fact that you've got the goat suggesting moves and talking trash to your opponent, life just doesn't get easier than that.
Yeah, this is looking really good now. I think the rook will just come into the central file, attack the pawn on d5, and there's just no way that black can be active here. There's no targets in white's position.
Yeah. It's an easy position to play, as you said. He said rook, Tanya puts the rook on d4. What a great move. You're double attacking the pawn. Maurice defends.
And now you just start pushing your kingside pawns. I think Tanya's going to push g4, h4. Oh, she brings the rook in.
I like that move. I saw Magnus say rook, and now he's nodding. That was the move I was thinking of too, because it just controls everything and stops the king from getting in. That's the key.
Nice pawn.
And then you play f4 to reinforce the rook. And that's why Magnus said rook before advancing the pawns, because this is such a Magnus move.
Yeah,
just
harmony.
Just constricting the position, harmony for his pieces. Tanya is a little more nervous now. You know why? Because she's about to get a win on Magnus's team. Look, I've been on Magnus's team in some different types of events, and that's pressure. There's nothing like that hot seat. I'll tell you that.
I agree, but you know, Magnus looks so chill. He's putting no pressure on his partner, and this is just push your kingside pawn. Oh, she brings the king up. Yeah, doing it in style there.
Yeah. They are doing it in style, as you said. I agree.
There are no
dressed in style. That's a freestyle event.
There are.
But Danny, this entire freestyle, the opening that was played, amazing. Yeah, the way in which there were so many possibilities. This never really happens in a normal game of chess.
Never happens in a normal game of chess, and the pressure you feel from move one doesn't happen in a normal game of chess. Normally, as commentators, we're trying to think of things to talk about while we're talking about opening prep and what did they eat for breakfast that day, and what's your favorite color cigar? By the way, what is your favorite color?
I like the blue right now.
I love the blue, okay. But in freestyle, you don't have downtime, right? We are immediately engaged with what could go wrong, how crazy of an idea X, Y, or Z might be, and that's what makes it so much fun. All right, G5 and H5, well played by Tanya. Here comes the king. She's got Magnus. It's over.
I think Magnus will take care not to fall into any pitfalls, and I think Tanya is just making sure to make the best moves.
Yeah.
The pawns are just advancing. I guess Black could even resign here, like they have no counterplay.
This is torture. This is torture. And Bobby knows it. He's been in positions like this against Magnus before. This is there you go. We have a resignation. Team Blue takes it down. They get the first win. I think this is where I'm supposed to head over there and get some thoughts. Cigar, you keep talking to him. Tell everybody what happened on the board. I'm going to go over there and interview our players.
Sure, Danny. Guys, the first win has gone to the Team Blue of Magnus and Tanya right now. And there we see right now the position was completely winning, 2 extra pawns for white, and fantastic play here by Carlsen and Tanya. I think the critical moment of the game did come somewhere roughly in the early middle game, where white was slightly better, but then black took over at some point here with the move e4. And I think knight f2.
Yeah, but like inevitably, like a.
Let's hear it for Team Blue. They get the first win in our head-to-hand. Magnus Tanya, there you go. Fan from up top. We love you up there.
Yeah, we're. As chess players do, we were discussing the game that just was. And it was really interesting. I think at the very start, there were like 3 or 4 moves in a row when I wanted to go a4 and Fabio wanted to go a5. So we kept suggesting pawn moves. But that's the thing, like, the only reasonable moves generally were pawn moves. And there were a lot of them. Yeah, eventually I mean, Tanya took the queen on an unexpected odyssey, but it ended up being quite useful over there. And yeah, after that, it just exploded with a bunch of tactics. But I thought, like, under circumstances, Tanya navigated it really well, and Maurice as well for a while. But you know, we're stronger in the end game so far.
You were very strong. Tanya, how you feeling right now? You feeling strong? You crushed it. Are the nerves a little better now that you got a win here on Magnus's team?
Yeah, I've got a pretty good partner here, so I can, you know, no. It was tough. It was tough, Danny. I was, you know, B4 and then trying to find A4, not the easiest for me. But then I think we managed to get it done, and then it got really complicated. But yeah, I'm glad we got the first dub in.
Well, the computer also liked A4. Magnus described the position very similar to the engine. I'm going to go over to another guy here who plays a lot like an engine. Where do you feel this one maybe first went wrong for you guys without having looked at it yet?
Yeah, I was kind of like hesitating after knight takes b6, because if I say queen, I think queen c6 is a very good move. But if queen b7 happens, then I didn't like it. But queen c6, I think like black is definitely not worse. And
yeah, I mean, you get this endgame like white has to trade, and you have the bishop pair against two knights, and I don't think white is necessarily worse, but it's kind of passive. But at that point, I just thought, let's trade some pieces, get an endgame, and we should be fine.
Well, that worked out. Maurice, your thoughts here. You get a second chance with the white pieces, the first move on the next game, but what are your thoughts here on game one in the books?
Yeah, after I played d6, I realized a5 was a much better move. And then I'm sitting here, when he said pawn again, I was like, oh, she figures out a5 because I'm playing a5 no matter what, and then she played a4, so that created a bit of a problem. I think she very smartly, she gives herself not too much credit, but when she took on b6 with the bishop, I think that was a really solid decision, understanding that the light square bind was going to be some problems for us. But I think we had play in here. I thought there was trickery when we played e4 and some stuff was going on. Rightfully, Magnus declined all the sacrifices. But then I think I lost my way. I should have kept the game complicated instead of trading into the endgame.
Well, funnily enough, because I know you're all strong players and care about these positions, the computer said, and it wasn't even close, that black's best move after b4 was f6 on move 1. And that b5 itself was the mistake that gave this a4 idea. But if black plays f6, black is actually even a little better, according to the computer, opening up the bishop and a board. So, crazy freestyle.
Danny, don't say that. It just makes us feel like idiots.
I was trying to help in case you get those positions again, but no. All right, you guys are not idiots. This next game will be full of drama too, but what do you got to do in the next game? You're going to be black?
No, I think this was incredibly useful. I feel like just during the course of the game, like, we all learned a lot. So I'm expecting the trend to continue and for the next game to be a cracker.
Are we?
And I'm also excited to be the hand. So it's fun to be the head, but you feel like you have a little bit more of a say, and it's like less stressful, I think, to be the hand.
Are we going to Armageddon?
I hope so. I really love Armageddon, so I hope so.
Are you as excited to be the hand?
Yeah, I actually forgot. I thought we would be the brain again. I was kind of not looking forward to it. It is, so now I'm a bit happier.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're almost ready. I think I just got a yes. It was a yes. Okay, that was great. I couldn't tell if I was being waved off, but it means we need our amazing visionaries, our incredible hosts, the lovely Holly, the lovely Jan here. We got it. Let's get our second position pulled up. How do you feel about that? You were a fan. You were dialed in there.
I'm such a fan. I was like starting the beginning here for a few minutes, and then I came up to you and saw what you were basically discussing, because I had no idea what they were doing. So and then I came back, and then it was kind of all over already. Right? It went by fast, but Cigar and I were talking about you, seeing how much you are just intense and amazing to see it happen in real time, right? Yeah, but it's amazing. I just really love the interaction between the players, you know, that the professionalism, but also like the laughing and the smiling, and it's really great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Meant to ask them about the trash talk, which was one of the best parts. But okay, we need to get to our second position here. Holly is with us. Are we ready?
We are ready.
We're ready. Here we go.
What's the countdown?
Let's get it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. We have a shuffling around. What do we got?
619.
Position 619. Holly has pulled. I'm going to place it right here. I would love to pretend like I have any idea what that means. Nobody does. And here we go. We have action though. All right. I'm going to bring it over I'm going to let the players see as they get it set up and ask them their thoughts as they kind of get the pieces placed. We're gonna go in opposite order this time. Once again, asking the hands what they think while the brains listen in. So Magnus, as you get the pieces set, give me your thoughts.
I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this position before. It's, well, the first thing I notice is that the knights are in the normal positions. Rooks as well, like, it looks like a fairly, like, kind of safe-ish position, I would say. Couple of weak points, but they're sort of not around the king. The king is well protected. So I'm predicting this to be sort of a nice, probably like a nice strategic battle that will eventually sort of flare up.
Okay. Fabi or Maurice, whoever wants to go first here, first things that pop out to you in this position.
Yeah, well, like without saying any moves, I think it looks relatively normal. It could turn very normal very quickly. Because like, yeah, as Magnus mentioned, knights are in normal places, bishop is fianchettoed, kind of, or like will be fianchettoed. And like if white castle, I mean, if one side castles, it just looks like a standard kind of position. Yeah. Only one is weird, but like since there's no good central control from the start, it could also be very concrete. So
The fact that it's close to a normal position, is that good for you guys here in the must-win spot that you're in?
I think it's going to come down to whether or not me or Tanya screws up. So that's the bottom line.
So game on, Tanya. You ready to not screw up? You didn't screw up game one. You ready for this?
I don't know what these guys are talking about. Nothing about this position is normal, Danny.
I'm with you. I look at this position and say weird pawns, weird bishops, but okay, I'm going to let you guys continue to discuss. Reminder, everybody, if Maurice and Fabiano win, we're going to Armageddon, which means they're in a must-win situation here if we're going to get that tie break. So if you're looking for anyone to root for, we want more chess, more action. But either way, Team Blue is up a game as we head into game two, and I'm going to head back to the booth with the incredible Cigar Shah. And take it away, players.
You're the hand. You're going to reach over to hit this clock?
Yeah, that's fine. I can.
We did that.
Okay.
We did that the last time. Okay.
Do we start?
They're gonna do the gong thing, I
Oh
think.
yeah. yeah.
Oh, the gong.
I'll move closer again because I can't really hear. The music is really loud, so I'll sit closer.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
The gong? Are we going to do the gong again or we just start? That sounded like a gong.
Let's go.
Yep. Pawn.
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 And we're rocking, and we are live once again here with Game 2, head-in-hand event. from the SKAI Loft in Singapore. We're kicking off the 2025 Freestyle Chess Tour. Thanks for being with us. All right. The players were saying this looked very normal. The fianchettoed bishop was something both Magnus and Fabi pointed out right away. The bishops on h1 and h8 are fianchettoed where they stand. But now, oh my gosh, look at that. We immediately have action in the center. d5 in front of the king. Computer doesn't like it.
Right, and there you can see Tanya smiling, and Magnus, I guess, must have said at the pawn, you can just take it, right? Danny, what's the big trap here?
I am super surprised by that move.
This is freestyle.
What is her idea? She was opening up the queen on this diagonal. That's a threat of a check, but otherwise I'm legitimately curious if we had a mouse slip at this point. But no, it was not a mouse slip. She played d5, and Fabi's like, thank you, I'll take it.
What the hell? Dude.
Oh my God. Tanya said she thought it was the queen. She thought it was protected?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. But okay, that's okay. We'll go.
You hear that?
I mean, you can.
We're listening in just like all of you, fans in chat.
That is just massive.
Beautifully done.
Well, we might have Armageddon after all at this point, because that is not how you start off a game when you are on the black side.
Or he just wants control of the whole action. He just said he wanted to be the hand, and then he's reverted.
Oh, did Magnus, did Tanya say pawn and Magnus push d5? Because now Magnus is the hand.
Oh my gosh, Magnus played d5.
Magnus played d5.
Trying to go anywhere.
Well, what was he doing?
I think Magnus just wanted to play some kind of a gambit
That
line.
is crazy.
It has backfired.
I forgot, if you're just tuning in game one, roles were reversed. Magnus was the head, Tanya was the hand. So, pardon my confusion there. I was shocked either way, but indeed it was Magnus who played d5. And now not a lot of talking going on. Okay.
Knight. Tanya says knight. So the knight comes out, Magnus plays. This is giving me the Scandinavian vibes.
Yeah.
Just that the king is on the d file, not the queen.
Scandinavian vibes. When you see that blue arrow occur, by the way, that's chess.com telling you that this is the best move according to the engine. So computer wants white to just play d3, which makes a ton of sense. You're opening up queens and bishops and all kinds of stuff.
And do you see that, Danny, right at the bottom there are some stats, and it shows 2 inaccuracies already for black in 2 moves. In 3 moves, actually.
Welcome to Freestyle. This is what it's about. Early on, you get these types of things, and Fabiano plays knight c3 after Maurice suggested knight.
But it's a good move.
Why are we down a pawn?
It's funny,
I think
the
it's a
computer doesn't
fairly
like it,
safe
but
bet,
you know,
but you probably
as
should
crazy
say
as
that.
it was that we criticized Magnus's gambit, the computer actually thinks that c6 at some point is quite playable for black. I'm just going to show it on the board because we have a chance. The point is, if the light squares start to open up...
That's your idea.
Wow.
It's on the board.
No.
c6 is on the board, Danny. Your idea is here.
So this idea is that when this bishop gets traded, suddenly you have a whole bunch of Swiss cheese, holes on the light squares, and black's compensation is long term, but it is very real. So we have the luxury of the computers and some time to kind of figure it out with each other. But this is, I don't know whose idea it was, Magnus's or Tanya's at this point, but this gambit actually has some legs to it.
Right, and after the pawn moves to c6, everyone has quietened down there. There's no talking going on. I don't think right now Maurice has said any piece just yet. I guess he must take the pawn, but as you said, it's a little risky, you know? It's like gambit style, black's playing.
No, totally risky. Completely gambit style. We can see Jan Henrik tuning in. He's very attentive here. Excited to see the chess on the board.
Danny, do we have a tiebreak if it's 1-1?
It is. I believe we do. I believe we have an Armageddon
I thought we'd just
game.
end and then have a party 1-1, no?
If everyone's up for that, I'm exhausted. It is late here, and I would be fine with no tiebreaker. But I feel like the plan was an Armageddon tiebreaker. Although, again, I've been wrong on camera before.
Nice move there by Fabi.
Magnus, you need to stop doing that.
Come on now.
I'm still in the mode of being the hand.
This is horrible.
What should I do?
Yeah, but I'm just messing
So
up
Magnus
our
said the
position
piece,
because now we
even
can't
though
play
he's
off.
the he's the hand.
Oh my God.
That's
He's
so.
he's just continuing to be the head.
He can't change his
I know
tone.
you're under a
So
lot of
Peter's
stress
playing,
playing with me here.
and Magnus
You know?
said pawn.
Yeah, I thought it would be
Gotta
less
keep it
stressful.
together. Okay.
Can we like just trade one? So you guys say pawn and I'll say.
By the way, look
No,
at Tanya.
it's
She
fine.
is
We'll
stressed
play without
right now.
that, okay? What do you want to? What do we do? This
Because
is
like you can't do anything
unprecedented.
else, right? I mean,
Tanya's like, I know Magnus,
okay,
you're
we
under a lot
we
of stress
continue
playing
without
with
saying
me.
pawn then. So I'm not allowed to say pawn.
I'm okay with them just doing it, whatever. You were gonna do it anyway, right?
I don't know. Not sure.
I thought she was gonna do it anyway.
I'm like all the fans. I just want to listen into what they're saying.
Exactly. And right now, I think Tanya must take the pawn. But I mean, Magnus set the pawn, so Magnus should take it. But
Okay,
they're
let's
thinking
go.
right now. Ooh, she's not yet convinced about the pawn.
I'm starting to realize it's stressful either way.
What's
Tell me about it.
Either way. Because you lose
they're getting
control
down on
of somebody.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going Queen Magnus.
Oh, Queen's a great move, by the way. The computer loves Queen
That
f5.
same,
Yes, we're going
Queen f5 is the
that
best
same
move for
queen
black.
excursion she went on the last time.
It's my favorite piece.
G4, B4.
Yeah, but actually, jokes aside, if Magnus finds Queen f5, and that's what Magnus Carlsen usually does, is find the best computer move. That is actually what black
it's
is
not
supposed to
an
do.
absolute
The depth of the engine is bouncing around, so ignore the question
Okay,
mark.
remember,
But
I'm the head,
that is
okay?
actually a move the
Yeah.
computer liked.
Yeah, and Black's position looks
I'm
okay. And
painfully
as
aware.
Tanya said, it's not a complete disaster.
Well, black is threatening to regain the pawn now. Full stop. And so if white takes it, black gets to take and develop. Are
So
they
right
talking?
now, I don't know what move is being suggested here by Maurice, because now he has to say a piece,
go,
and it's not.
Let's go.
Okay.
If hand says something, then the head cannot.
We also see the
Yeah,
Yan.
That's fair.
I'm gonna say,
Talking up close with spectators there. And
I'm gonna say queen.
Oh, Queen!
That is very nice.
Queen to
You know what, so am I
h6.
kind of
chess is this?
Oh.
Does this
Not
just
everyone's happy.
this walks into a million things? I mean, knight to g4 is something I think of. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you just take the pawn. What is the... Oh, the rook is just hanging.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. In my head, I had the rook and bishop like reversed. Like mentally, that was the pattern. It's like...
Then the bishop would take the queen.
I know it doesn't make any sense, but I was like, oh yeah, the rook's fine. Didn't even make any sense in my brain.
So the rook has to now slide over.
Yeah, you had to
c8.
slide over. Okay.
Okay.
I like that Maurice and Fabi have gotten an opening advantage, which means that the match is really balanced at this point.
Yeah. And remember, Maurice and Fabi have to win. They're down a game in the match. And
And here, I guess, I mean, guys, we would love to sort of commentate on this game, but we also want to tune into the players. So we're just trying to balance it out for you guys. Right now, there's no talking. We want to give you some insights, but also, it's really interesting to hear them talk.
Every time that they're talking, we want to listen in. Sometimes we're a little bit behind, and so it sounds like we're talking over each other. It's hard to keep it going, and we're also having a little trouble hearing them. But okay, rook to g8 was played.
Yes, and also, Danny, now white can actually long castle at some point because the path is clear.
Yeah.
So a long castling can happen. He did mention. Did Maurice mention a piece?
I'm gonna
Not
go
yet,
with,
I mean.
I'm gonna go with pawn.
Oh, pawn.
Pawn.
He snatches the pawn.
This is so much tougher. Bishop.
Takes it.
I think this is much tougher for Maurice and Tanya than the first game. The pressure they feel to suggest the right piece
Right.
for those two guys.
And also, I actually like Black's position here, Danny, because so many pieces have been developed. It's a little bit tricky for White to get the knight out here.
I agree. And you mentioned castles long for White. What about castles long for Black?
King.
Great. Oh, he did castle. He did castle here.
Look at that. Look at that. They've castled. It's on the board.
Castling on the board, and it has kept White's advantage. Now curious to see what Tanya comes up with. Which piece will she also say king? And there's long castling, or will she say something else? Or Danny, should we start attacking on the queen side? B5. We have the bishop lined up on the long diagonal there on H8 A1.
What a move! If Tanya says pawn here, and Magnus plays b5. I mean, just sign me up for the future. I'm all in. Okay, okay, she said bishop. She wants that queen out of there. The bishop attacks the queen. A key move to, I guess, at least make them decide where they want to go. But by the way, you suggested b5. The computer actually loved that idea. That would have been a spicy approach. I have a feeling Tanya's going to castle instead.
Yeah, right now, where do you think the white queen will go? Because it can go back to H3 to trade it off. H4, yes.
You can also go to E3 if you want to start spying this side of the board.
How big do you think is White's advantage here, Danny? Pawn up, I think it's looking more and more solid now for White.
Yeah, I don't actually think bishop to G7 was needed, right? Attacking the queen feels like a move that, if anything, might actually help White. And Fabiano's going to try to get the queens off the board.
But now if you take, it doubles the pawns, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Magnus is not going to miss his chance to do it.
Magnus, when you're down a pawn, you don't trade pieces.
You trade when you're in a desirable position.
Wait, I'm so stupid. The rook moved, right?
This one, yes, but not this one.
No, are you kidding?
What does he even mean by that?
Is that why you didn't want to play Queen H3?
Yeah, no, of course, then Queen H3.
Oh my goodness.
I thought Black could still castle, I just forgot.
Oh, he just...
That was a bit of a slip up.
Oh my gosh, so he just blundered it.
He forgot that the rook had moved. But how does that matter? Otherwise, you would have played Queen H3. I don't get it. The rook movement.
No, because I had the thought like I'll play Queen H3 automatically, and then I was like, well, wait, Black can castle. And, okay. It's fine. We're still up a pawn, just not as healthy
not as nice as it was.
Oh no. Interesting. You know what he was worried about?
That the queen would move and then Black would short castle.
Castle king side.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Sorry. Well, actually not sorry. I'm sure you're as interested as we are, fans. Listening in was helpful. Fabi was worried about Black castling short so that the pieces could come over here and assault the white king, and he forgot that that was not an option.
Wow.
And the reason it wasn't an option is because the rook had already moved a square, so castling was no longer possible. Okay. Knight has been suggested. Immediately played.
No,
it's okay.
Okay. Tanya looking for some confidence there from Magnus. Go ahead.
White is still slightly better here, but those double pawns don't look pretty.
Yeah. It's really funny that Fabiano made that queen trade because of forgetting that Black can't castle, because this is helpful for them. Helpful. Remember, Magnus and Tanya only need to draw to win the match.
We offer you a draw.
They offer a draw.
Deeply considering ignoring how badly we're going to ignore it. This doesn't work. Maybe it works or losing like this. Okay, nice.
it's also so beautiful that white's almost all the pieces are still on the last rank, and this is what freestyle chess is all about. You know, you just don't know how to coordinate them. It's not so obvious.
But what's funny is this is a position that could, I mean, I don't know what the opening would be, but this could legitimately occur in a real game. It's not that dissimilar, right? And this move now opens up the C3 square. So we're a couple moves away from this looking like could have easily been just a classical chess game.
Right, and Tanya did say a knight, and Magnus is thinking whether he should take. No, he comes back. He's not trading.
It makes sense because he wants to target the pawn, right? Next is bishop h6 maybe?
Yeah, bishop h6, knight h5. We can just gang up on that pawn here on f4.
And the thing I now like about Team Blue here is that they're back up on the clock. Magnus and Tanya once again in control off the board.
Why not?
But Magnus is like sort of smiling after that check. But it's a very interesting move, Danny. If you push the pawn forward, maybe it just creates some weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, very interesting.
Yeah.
And Tanya, like, should I say pawn or not? Because that's the most obvious move. Push the pawn.
It's funny, Magnus laughed when Fabi played the check because I think he knew he did it for some practical reasons too.
Pawn. Check. And bishop comes back. This is really high level stuff here.
Yeah. Okay, well, Tanya has to suggest a move quickly here.
King.
Time ticking. Okay. Yes, he does it. Magnus Carlsen. Castles long.
And the knight develops here. White is looking really good. The knight is also jumping into the center.
Yeah.
So black needs to find some way to counter this.
I didn't hear Tanya, but she did suggest a piece. I think it was knight.
Or maybe she wants knight h5 or knight d5.
Yeah.
To attack that pawn on f4, but it's so well defended. Those two white pieces are defending it. Right now, black is a pawn down and under pressure. Somehow Magnus and Tanya have to find a way to come out of this mess. Oh, he plays the
knight
other
to
knight.
c5. Interesting. What is he thinking? If knight to e5.
Yeah, that looks like a good move.
Attacking the pawn. I guess he's just going to defend it. But he was worried about something. He wants to keep the pieces on the board.
Oh, he did play, yeah, knight e5. It's on the board. And the rook defends here. It is passive position for black.
Super passive position, but again, anybody's game still. Both sides over 3 minutes, but not for long. What's funny is it's actually kind of hard to see a clear plan for white.
Yeah.
Because if you advance in the center, you open up more squares. This bishop is sort of blocked by the double pawns. I mean, okay, in a classical game, I'm sure Fabiano has plenty of time to figure out a plan, but in a fast game, it's hard for me to see exactly what white is doing here.
I agree with you. It's not at all easy to push your central pawns. The extra pawns are on the central files there, Danny, like D and C pawns. But you can't push them, so he brings the rook in the center. Good play there by Maurice suggesting rook and Fabi playing it on E1. Pawn.
Yeah. Now pawn. Interesting.
E6.
E6.
The advantage of white keeps growing, but we just don't really understand if it's really practically so huge.
I think it's getting better. You know what move I'm thinking of now? Okay, Maurice is not suggesting it, but I think I know, but I think F3 is the best move for white. If you can guard the square, then maybe you can start to advance. Anyway, that's an idea that Maurice has not gone for. He suggested knight.
And did you see there, like Tanya was saying that this position is looking not so great, and Magnus was like, no worries, you know, he's being a team player there, boosting Tanya's confidence. Knight comes to c3, and the bar drops a bit.
King.
Nice.
You were right, Danny, here, that it's not easy for white to convert this edge.
Yeah.
Is he allowed to make her feel better?
It's not easy for white to convert the edge. Not easy to find a plan.
Okay.
White now down again on the clock.
Bishop.
Okay, bishop is
Yeah.
played.
I like it.
Fabi likes the position now. Bishop e3 is on the board, or is it? I think
Knight.
it's on the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. That was not pleasant.
So she says knight. Magnus is thinking.
I think bishop e3 is played.
Bishop e3's already been played. You're right. I'm gonna refresh and get us the live position. No, we still don't have it. I wonder if the DGT board is not updating for us.
Pawn.
Yeah, I think we've lost
Yeah.
DGT connection somehow.
Bishop e3.
Doesn't seem like it's on the chess.com. I can tell here that neither board is being updated, neither the live position or the analysis. So we're gonna get that looked into, and we get a full cam view.
E4, E6, C6, C7.
Okay, Magnus is just gonna do commentary.
Not saying
Magnus giving up the full plan.
By the way, there are a ton of fans on the balcony above them, and some of them were kind of crazy, screaming out.
Yeah.
There's a hidden point.
It's like the coolest party in town.
Pawn. What, that one? Okay then.
That's a good move.
Let's do
But
this.
What my point was. Okay, we got to do some shit.
We do have to do some shit. I agree.
Pawn.
Oh. Knight.
Magnus now jumps in with the knight to the center of the board. We can't see the position clearly yet. We are trying to fix the DGT board there to get the footage, but it does feel like the advantage is still with white, just developing the pieces in the center. Tanya is like, should I say a knight or a pawn? It's getting intense, guys, here. Both sides down to like last couple of minutes on the clock, and look at Magnus's focus. If we can look at Fabi and Maurice there, they also are not speaking much. Both of them completely focused, both teams.
Knight.
Knight again.
Magnus trades a knight. Position's moving along. We're getting the DGT dialed in. It looks like we're actually close to being completely caught up. So everyone just hold your horses.
Yeah, we have the live board now, Danny. So maybe if we can bring that up, then
Yeah, I
everyone
think
can see.
there's still been a couple of moves made that aren't fully caught up, but there
Yeah,
we go.
there we go.
Now we're back.
Still a clearly better position. So we did go away for a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
but nothing really changed there.
Yeah, white's still better. I think the main change is that Fabi and Maurice did find a way to kind of expand, and this threat now on b5 is a big problem, because if that pawn falls, it's not just a pawn, it's a mating net. That king quickly gets in big trouble with both of white's knights joining the party. So I'm nervous.
Sorry.
I'm actually looking, I think it will be 1-1, and look at Magnus there. He's still in good
Can I call the
spirits.
arbiter?
Oh, it was that bad.
She said
Oh my
bishop.
gosh.
She said bishop, and Magnus is like, no, we're not going to trade.
And now the king goes back. So you are actually now 2 pawns down as black.
Under
clearly,
the
but the F4
circumstances,
pawn
it's
will
kind of
fall.
necessary.
What I wanted was
Yeah.
so horrible that he chose that instead.
What's funny is, of all the moods, it's Caruana who's feeling the medium stress level right now. He feels the need to convert. He wants this thing to go to tiebreakers, although I've been informed I misspoke. It is time to party. There will be no Armageddon tiebreaker. So no matter what happens, we're having a good time after this. We've officially kicked off the 2025 Freestyle Chess Tour
Pretty much guaranteed.
in style.
Yeah, this isn't over.
And actually, a 1-1 score would be a pretty good way to go into our match that starts from tomorrow, where Fabi and Magnus take on each other in classical format. Ooh, the knight jumps in, attacks the rook, but the rook can swing up and move to the other side of the board.
Yeah, the main issue here is the mating net.
Bishop.
Oh, Fabi doesn't go for it. Rook to d3 was the win. And just like that, the position is completely turned around.
Wow! Oh my God! And now I think they have to be really careful now.
The idea was for White to just say, you know what, go after my pawn. I don't care. I'm checkmating you on this side of the board. Doesn't matter what you do. Look at this, by the way, Sugar. Boom. Boom.
Rook.
Boom.
Beautiful.
That was the win for White.
But now Rook C1, it's no longer working out because now the bishop took the pawn.
It's not only is it not working out, but I mean we're almost in a spot where Black could be playing for a win again, depending on what happens here. The knight is under attack, the rook is under attack. Magnus is giving that Magnus Carlsen face when he's like, I know this thing is turned around. Like he's like, I actually am a little happier here than I'm gonna.
Did they play pawn push? And now the engine says black is better. Pawn.
Like I was saying, I think this is.
And if she says knight takes pawn could work here.
Knight takes pawn
because
looks
the rook is
phenomenal
hanging.
here.
The rook is hanging from the bishop there.
She says it, and Magnus knows that he didn't want to reveal how excited he was about taking the pawn.
I can see Magnus not emoting much. I think he's bringing his game face on here.
He's got full game face. That's the full Magnus game face. This is completely turned around, and I cannot wait to tell Fabi that if he had played rook to d3 and rook a3, it was a mate on the a file. Just because I can't wait to see his expression. But okay, this is what a Magnus turnaround right now. Magnus and Tanya together.
I think now the knight, she did mention knight, and Magnus is thinking where to move the knight exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's actually maybe not the best idea.
But Danny, this is a great situation for Team Blue. They won the first game, now better in the second game.
Yeah.
They will take this match, it seems. Unless there's a big turnaround here.
And there could easily be a blunder. Magnus just reminding them about their time. That was hilarious.
Oh, nice.
A little bit of trash talk, or a helpful reminder. I don't know, depending on how you look at it.
Fabi feeling the stress here. Okay.
Pawn.
Pawn by Maurice. Pawn. H3. And now F5. Nice
F5,
one. Nice
what a good
suggestion
move.
by Tanya, their pawn.
What a good move by Tanya. Magnus continuing to talk trash on his opponent's time. This is what the people want.
Oh, the bishop, it's trapped. The rook is trapped.
Oh, that's an
Look at
exchange.
that.
The
What
bishop
a
and knight
nice
together
move
control
there.
every possible square that rook can move to. Tanya gives a little bit of a smile. She knows they've turned it around, and Team Red is down to 20 seconds. Somehow, some way, Magnus Carlsen's team usually takes the day. Hashtag rhyme time.
Rook.
Okay, threatening checkmate. Don't say bishop. Okay, she said rook, and Magnus Carlsen finds the best move. If it was bishop there,
It was a mate in one.
could have been a mate.
And now the rook is still trapped, because if you move your rook away, the knight on c6 is hanging.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Well, at this point, they're out of time. They were down to just a few seconds.
Oh,
Remember?
and look at them smiling.
And just like that, they're gonna-
What was not losing?
I mean, 95.
just like that, they're throwing in the towel and
They're
immediately
resigning.
analyzing.
They're
And we
resigning.
have our winners of the head-in-hand match here as we kick off the 2025 Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour in style. And there you go. They win it.
Oh
Team
my
Blue.
gosh, I
Yeah,
don't
when
know.
you said
For
pawn, I shouldn't play
Magnus.
c4, but
And let's hear what they're saying.
yeah, well, you should go rook d3.
It was very stressful.
We'll listen and we'll head
and then
over.
A lot
Yeah, we were
happened in the
winning.
opening when
Come
Magnus
with me.
forgot that he's the hand.
I mean,
It got
rook
fun.
d5, king 8.
Yeah,
It
I
was-
know I collapsed that.
No, I mean, we were... It wasn't like super simple. No.
This position.
Yeah, pawns here, here. But Tanya, bishop takes e5. Come on.
Yeah, but what do you do there? Magnus was b5 and knight c5 is coming. I couldn't understand what move you wanted after
Here.
that.
No, I think
What
at
do I
that
do?
point, we
Yeah.
probably have to go b4.
Okay.
What would you
and
you
knight
rook
e4?
up now to play for this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Wait,
Okay, bishop was panic. I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, the worst thing about bishop is that like they could probably even.
I don't know what I was doing. I was also blind.
Our winners here. Let's hear it for Team Blue. Magnus Carlsen and Tanya Sachdev win the head-in-hand battle. Comeback fashion there in Game 2 to kick off the 2025 Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour in style. Magnus, Tanya, congratulations.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. I'm really sorry for my mental lapses, like breaking the rules and so on. That was not my intention whatsoever. And it's sort of like, it ruined the whole... Yeah, it kind of ruined the whole idea of the pawn sacrifice that I was going with, because I think we actually needed not to play knight f6 immediately so that the queen couldn't come here and attack the rook. So that was a bit of a shame. I think if we'd done it correctly, the pawn sacrifice was actually quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, after that, we had bad position, not gonna lie, but we persevered somehow.
You did persevere. I want to go to a critical moment when, oh, you have it on the board already. Rook to d3. Did you have rook d3 in mind when you said rook?
I just wanted to move the rook.
Did you, I mean, obviously we have it now, but the funny line is that after knight to g2, there's a rook sack on a7 with mate.
Sorry, knight g2?
The computer gave rook d3, knight g2. Oh, yeah. Okay, rook a3. Which here? That was the idea.
Yeah, this is... But wait, bishop takes e5? I don't understand at all. But is rook c8, like rook c8 is much more logical also. Oh, sorry, yeah.
I don't know anymore, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course it was very, very promising for white, but there's no like long-term solution here. Like either you're winning quickly or the game is going to go on with mutual chances.
We were just very excited when we thought we saw a mating net on the board, so not trying to be, but all right, this has been a ton of fun. Your thoughts on the duo, the dynamic, how'd it go over here? I know it wasn't the result you wanted.
No, and especially losing to Tanya, you know, losing to Magnus is okay. Losing to Tanya is nasty. But I'm happy for her because you can see she's giddy and she's not even paying attention. But I thought that, it was unclear what, causing this pawn to crack the structure because Fabi forgot that he couldn't castle.
But even if you go queen h3, you would take it, knight g4, put the knight on d4. Like we have a little bit of play there as well.
This position was something we had to move around and get this bishop into the right spot. But I thought we were winning, but I didn't figure out exactly how to really turn the screws in the time pressure. And they played very good defense. This knight e3, I think, was a surprise to maybe two of us. I'm not sure if you saw knight e3 as the best.
I didn't notice knight e3, yeah.
I thought knight e3 mixed up the game in a really fun way that made it very confusing. And that was the first moment when things started to get a little bit like, wait a minute, we're not just going to cruise to the victory. And then this knight turned into a monster just dancing all around. So couldn't control. I knew there was something here, but I couldn't figure it out.
All right, well, Tanya, we've been waiting to interview you last. We know how nervous you were at dinner. Obviously, we're outing you right now. You were nervous. You were also incredibly excited to be on Magnus's team. But now that it's over, you won. How much fun was this?
It was amazing, and Maurice has been trash talking and psyching me out the last 2 days. So this was a lot of fun, and I told Magnus before we started that I am a little nervous to play this. So what are you talking about? Just try to read my mind. And he walked off with that piece of advice.
Apparently you pulled it off though, as much as you possibly can. So this was a ton of fun for everyone. I know, let's hear it one more time for all 4 players and kicking off the freestyle chess tour in style. This has been amazing. And again, remind you all, we're just getting started here in Singapore. We have 2 more days of incredible chess, a match going down between Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana. So we're about to have a great time here tonight, but if you missed it, the announcement of the 2025 Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour is official. It hit the press today. We're gonna throw it to this video as we say goodnight from Singapore. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.
It is a dream to play this tournament.
This was absolutely amazing.
The organization was really great.